everyone! Today I'm going to address a problem that was brought to my attention. We're going to talk about our erythritol simple syrup and the crystallization issue. Let's go see what this is all about. Last week I shared with you how to make sugar-free simple syrup using erythritol. I did have one person who wrote me back, said she made it, put it in the refrigerator overnight, and it had crystallized. I had not experienced this in the past. However, I went to my refrigerator and I looked at the batch we had made in the video, and lo and behold, it had crystallized. And it crystallized a lot. Like, it looked like a geode up inside my bottle. So we did a little experimentation, we did a little reading, we did a lot of research, and I'm here to bring you some better information about how you should be making this simple syrup. You can still do it, but you need to be aware that crystallization is a probability, and these are the ways you can avoid it. Because I don't want you guys wasting a lot of money using an expensive ingredient only to have it crystallize and be unusable. That would piss me off. So I don't want you to get upset. So you can see here, this is some erythritol simple syrup that we made. Now I will say the simple syrup that we made in the video is gone. What I did to kind of see what could be done is I poured off a lot of the liquid, and I put some warm water in the bottle, and it would not dissolve for anything. So then I put it in a pan of simmering water for about 10 minutes. It did melt off, but I went ahead and I dumped it down the drain. So then I made a new batch where I only used cool water and erythritol. I did not apply any heat to it whatsoever, and it took several hours before the erythritol completely dissolved. So I just kept coming over to the counter and shaking it every so often to get it moving. And that is what's in this bottle. It was clear when I put it in the refrigerator, but as you can see, overnight it did crystallize. So that was on Saturday. Today is Monday. Yesterday, I thought I'm gonna pour some of the liquid off into a separate mason jar, and I'm gonna see if it will recrystallize from just the liquid that we poured off. There are crystals in the bottom. They did start to form because, and I don't know if they were crystals that had poured off from what was already in the bottle, but overnight they did start to form a little bit. So that's the result of that. This is still usable, and we will use it. However, if you want to get rid of this crystallization, you're going to have to put it in a pan of water and melt it down. So we want to avoid the crystallization altogether. But
the rest of the liquid is still sweet, so you can still use it.
Absolutely. All right, so the third thing was yesterday I went ahead and I put some erythritol in a jar with some hot water. This stuff does not like to dissolve at all. Without a little help. So it sat on the kitchen counter all afternoon, giving it a shake every now and then I finally just got frustrated. I stuck it in the microwave, and on my microwave I have a reheat button, and I just let it heat until it was dissolved, and then I let it cool, and we let it sit on the counter. No crystallization. Now you can see it starting here around the edge of the jar from, you know, residue from where it shook, and also I just stirred it up, so it's not ever going to dissolve completely. In my research, I have found that erythritol is not used in a lot of commercial baked goods because of crystallization, and it gets crunchy and it leaves a crispy residue. So a couple of the things that I read suggested that if you want to make a simple syrup out of it, that you only make what you're going to use in a couple of days time. So I've made a cup or cup and a half's worth here. And then it was also suggested that you use distilled water, not filtered water, not purified water, distilled water. which is free from impurities. The crystallization may be being caused by impurities in the water if you're using tap water or even filtered water. And dare I say, if you have pets and you have the ubiquitous floating cat hair or dog hair in your home, then
dust in general.
There could be dust if you didn't rinse or sterilize the jar properly. Maybe you had it sitting out somewhere. Then science is going to take over and those crystals are going to grow. That is not to say that you can't use the mixture that you made, but I just wanted you guys to be aware, because I don't want you wasting expensive ingredients and then getting mad because it didn't work. I'm experiencing the same things, but I didn't experience this the first time I made it. We have been using it to make orangeade with Kool-Aid packets. I don't know if there's something to that, if it has something to do with the citric acid that's involved. We do like our orangeade a little tangier, so we have been adding about a teaspoon of citric acid to the mixture to give it a little more tang. So that may have something to do with it. I could find nothing related to that in any of the research that I did. Also, I see recipes for simple syrup with erythritol that includes xanthan gum, which is a natural thickener. And it is also approved for low carb and keto friendly use. But again, xanthan gum is very, very expensive, and it's calling for approximately a 1/16 of a tablespoon, a teaspoon. It's calling for a 1/16 of a teaspoon, a very small amount, like a pinch, and then you would dissolve that in the heat process if you're going to melt it on the stove in a saucepan and then let it cool. It's going to add thickness, and it's going to add body to the mixture in the end. But I have not tested that. I don't know if that has something to do to prevent crystallization or not. But I just wanted to bring this to your attention because I wasn't sure that somebody else was going to have the same problem, and I just wanted to let you know I'm having the same issues. So,
but you can melt the crystals with heat, right?
You can. I did put the bottle with the crystals in a saucepan with some water, like a double boiler, and I allowed that to melt, and it melted fine. But it's going to recrystallize if you put it in the fridge.
Yeah, that's true.
This did not go in the fridge, and it has yet to crystallize, but I do see these crystals around the rim. If any of those fell in there, most likely it's going to crystallize even sitting on the kitchen counter.
But not as fast as it does when you refrigerate it.
Right. So I hope this was helpful. If you have questions, leave them down below. I'm doing my best to continue research. I may bring you another update on this in the future.
We'll try distilled water in a really clean
We're going to
jar.
try making it with some distilled water, and then we'll bring you the final results of that as well in a later video. So I hope that this is helpful. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. If you're new to my kitchen, welcome. Be sure and hit that subscribe button. If you've been around for a while, please be sure and hit the bell notification button. And I hope this was good information for you. And until next time, I'll see ya.